Hello everyone and welcome back. Another episode of Daddy's Kitchen here. And today I'm going to be making some kolache, or an attempt to make kolache, my way at least. Um, when you're working with like pastry products, they're very similar in ingredients often. You just add, um, obviously you need flour, and I got bread flour, typically salt, and then some yeast, and then you add in some sugar and some butter and some other stuff. So again, I'm gonna make some kolaches here. Um, Probably make some jam kolache and sausage kolache. You'll see what I'm talking about. So let's first start with the flour. I use about 3 cups. That works for me. Okay. And then I'll go ahead and I'll use. Some people use more. You could play around with the ingredients, but I use about 1 tablespoon of salt. And I more or less keep that same amount whether I make pizza or bread. Just makes it easy to remember so I don't have to look at the recipe sheet all the time. There, 1 tablespoon salt. Okay, there we go. That's done. And then yeast. I put about 2.5 cups. No, not 2.5, just 2, because, well, it's just easy, right? You scoop once, then twice, or not 2.5 cups, 2 tablespoon. 2 tablespoon. Boom, you're done. You want to try to make the ingredients and the recipe as simple as possible, because you know just makes life a lot easier. Now sugar is the next ingredient, and sugar is always about a tablespoon, not a tablespoon, a 1/4 cup. And we're kind of, oh man, we are getting low on the sugar. Hopefully my wife got more sugar here, but let's see what I can do. I need a 1/4 cup. I need a little bit more than that. 1. Yep. Add a little bit of sugar in there because that's what makes it sweet. All right, and one thing I do that maybe some other people don't do is I add powdered milk. Now I'm gonna add milk into this thing, milk and melted butter, but it's almost like making dinner rolls, very similar, but not quite. I only add one teaspoon of powdered milk. That's my specialty, I guess. That's my way of making things. All right, and then come down here, grab a whisk, mix it up. Of course, I got the KitchenAid here. I have the KitchenAid. That's gonna do most of the work for me, but I just mix it up anyway, just to get it going. So once you've done this, once you do this, mix it all up, you're pretty much committed. You gotta go through with it. All right. All right, we mixed all the dry ingredients. Now I'm gonna go to the wet ingredients here. So milk. This is very similar to like a buttermilk bread. Very similar. Anyways, what I have here is a little bit of butter, 1/4 of a butter stick, and it's hard right now. I got some other butter right here that I'm gonna put in later once it gets a little soft. But oh, that worked out really good. All right, so I just put the butter in here, and then I pour to maybe about 1 1/3. 1 1/3, I think works really good. Maybe 1 1/2. I put about 1 1/2. I like the dough to be more mushy, So I put my milk in here, pour it to 1 1/2. with the butter in it. There we go. Because that's the total volume of liquids that I need in here. And I go ahead and I put this in the microwave, warm it up, not very hot, but just warm enough. And remember, the butter is the quarter of a stick is in here, so it'll melt. And you see the butter starting to melt. Make sure that's fully melted, but you don't want it to get too hot. Okay, so I'm gonna microwave it just a little bit more. All right, well, I got the wet ingredients warming up in the microwave and everything. I'm gonna go ahead and get this going just because I like the little dome shape. I like the little dome shape that it makes. That's just me. All right, the butter's melted and I just like to, or it's warm. Yeah, this whole thing is a little warm, so I'll let it cool down. The butter's melted here. I'll mix it up a little bit with the whisker, so it's just nice and creamy and fat. All right, so the milk and the butter is well mixed and not hot but warm. So let's go ahead and start pouring it in. If this gets very, very sticky, that's all right because I want it to be sticky. It's very different than the pizza dough where I want it to be more not sticky. So I put a little bit more liquids in here, more milk, buttermilk. All right. Ooh. Just like all dough, just give it time. It looks like it's not doing anything, but as soon as it gets going, it's going to get very clumpy and very sticky very fast. All right, I got the consistency I want. Let me see here. That's kind of what it looks like. Very sticky. That's kind of how you want it. I'm going to be adding the butter. It's actually not quite soft. It'd be much better if it's softer, but I'm just going to go ahead and just going to add it slowly and turn it piece by piece, little by little. And there's the butter right here. And I tried melting it just a little bit, but it wouldn't quite melt. That's all right. Doesn't really matter. Just put a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, and it'll eventually melt with the friction. So I'll be doing that until I use all the butter. One whole stick of butter. All right, so while it's mixing, I'm going to get this ready because I'm going to basically let it rise. You got to let it rise for this if you want it to be nice and fluffy and soft. So just put a little bit of olive oil in here, and then that way it doesn't stick to the pan. And another thing I do is I also turn on the oven because it's so cold. I'm doing this during fall and winter. It's cold in the house and it needs to be warm to get the bread to rise, get the dough to rise. Okay, this is about the right consistency that I like it. Everything's being picked up on the sides here. It's still very sticky, as you can tell. That's probably the way you want it. It's got to be sticky for what it is. Okay, I got it. It's gonna hopefully just roll out, and I'm gonna put it in here. Come on, just roll out, please. Make it easy on me. Yes. Thank goodness. Rolled just right out. And then I I take this little brush and whatever excess oil, I actually try to make it into a little ball. excess olive oil, and just because it's going to get very, very, very sticky. So I just try to make it easier for me. Just try to use much of that olive oil on here. All right. So because if you're doing this in cold temperature, all right, got that done. So if you're doing this in cold temperature, what I recommend to do is I have this piece right here that diffuses heat. You don't have to do this. It does help. Um, Preheat your oven or warm up your oven to 350 degrees. The reason I like doing kolaches or baking or using the oven during the winter is it warms up the house at the same time. So kind of kill two birds with one stone kind of thing. Anyways, I'm going to put a kind of like a lid on this, and hopefully it'll warm everything up, but it won't cook the bread or warm the bread up too much, and I will just let it rise. All right, everyone, I am back. I've turned the oven off, and I just let the radiant heat just kind of rise up, and let's see what it looks like. Did it double in size? Woohoo, I think it did. It did double in size. Good. So that's kind of what it looks like. Let's take it out here. Let's move it. Let's move it here. Okay, I'm not going to use, normally I wear gloves, but I'm saving my gloves for the pandemic that we're in. So, of course, you want to wash your hands when you do this, which I already did. All right, don't worry, I'm the one eating it. So let's break it down. It gets kind of really sticky. It's very oily because of the butter, and the olive oil, so it shouldn't stick. But I want to get all those pieces. Ooh, the bottom's kind of warm. There we go. Make sure it sticks. Now, I'm not going to be making kolache right now, all right, because this is just too much. This is too soft. So what I do is I refrigerate it, and I'll be right back. So this takes about a day to make. I do put it in a bag. And I refrigerate it. So that's how I preserve it. Let's see if I can do this. There we go. Put this in a bag. There we go. Voila. All right, so I'll probably put a date on it. Here, and then I'm just going to bag it in the refrigerator. But I will be making kolaches. Just hold on, all right? Okay, everyone, I am back. It is like 6 in the morning. So this is probably the hardest part of waking up. Hardest part about the kolache is waking up in the morning. So here's the dough, and let's just go ahead and open it. Okay, let's go ahead and dump it out. Before I dump it out, I like to compress it a little bit while it's in the bag. There you go. And while it's cold, get it out because it's still very sticky. All right, so it's cold, it's a little sticky, but you should still be able to roll it out. So I'm just going to try to roll it out to about, I don't know, 1/4 of an inch thick. And I'm going to work on that process right now. All right, I use this little scraper, pastry scraper. Anyways, I measure out here about 1/4 of an inch, so it's about 1/4 of an inch around. All right. All right, I got the dough kind of flattened. Don't worry if it's not square, but I've kind of like outlined 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 8. So I'm using just a glass cup, and I'm gonna just cut it out. There we go, like that. All right, so I got 8, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just peel this back. I'll use a scraper a little bit to help me out, but I don't think I will need it because it's still cold here in the morning. But yeah, I guess I'll just go ahead and just start peeling back here, and then I should be left with 8. There we go. And I'll get the bag, put this back in the bag, scrape that up a little bit, clean it up. All right, put the dough back in the bag, save it for another day. I got my 8 pieces here, and I'm still going to use this cup, so still use it. And I'll get the ingredients to make both jam kolache and sausage kolache. All right, just some simple American cheese. I don't need a lot, just probably 2 of these, and 1 of these, just simple, already done. Just roll them into the dough. Strawberry and marmalade. I make 2, so these are 2 flavors. All right, the first kolaches I'm going to make are jam kolaches, and I get 1 of these and small little roller, and I roll it out. I gotta work quick because it's pretty cold in the morning, but you want to work really fast because when it warms up, it'll start to get really soft, really tacky, and then they'll start what do you call it, growing on you, which is kind of what you want, but not right now. You want to work with it while it's still soft and tacky and malleable before it gets too sticky. There we go. I want to make it kind of round, a bigger version of it, flat and round. There we go. This is where the cup comes in. I want to push down. I want to make that impression right there. All right. There you go. So gonna use this scraper, scrape it off. It is sticky, it's still fragile. There we go. I already got the cookie sheet right here, or not a cookie sheet, but parchment paper. Put it right in here, and then also put the jam in there as well. So once I get this going, I'm gonna go ahead and start the oven right here. Go ahead and start the oven. Bake 350. Get it started, and that's gonna warm this up, and then you're gonna see this kind of grow. And once it starts growing a little bit, I'm gonna put my put the jam in there. All right, I just use 1 teaspoon of jam because any more will make it too big. Let's just put it right in here for now. Let it grow around it. I can hear the oven come on. I gotta hurry. It's gonna start growing quick. All right, I got the jam kolaches going here, and for the sausage kolaches, these are just way too big, so I gotta cut them in half like this, and then each one I make a kolache with, the sausage kolache. All right, cut them all in half, what I simply do now is start doing the same thing a little different. I got to I'm going to kind of roll them in a little bit. So I'm going to roll this out to something like this. Put a little sausage in here, right here. Amazingly, you don't need a lot of cheese because these are really small. You can see my finger, just a small little piece. I don't get well, if you get larger sausages, I guess you can do it bigger. So here's what I do with the cheese. Fold it in half. Okay. Take this piece, fold it in half again. So quarter of a cheese square. Fold this in half. You guessed it, one more time. Fold this in half. And this is about the cheese you need because any more will explode out of it. There you go. And that's what I use. Use a scraper here to kind of get it going here so I can roll it from the bottom. There we go. And I simply just roll. Like that. If you want, you can leave it out, but the cheese sometimes squirts out of it, but I like to close mine up. So it's like a roll mine out like that. I like to close mine up. Like a little pig in a blanket, I guess, however you want to do it. But I like to close mine. You can leave it open or close it. So once that's done, nice little cute little pig in a blanket. I just find a space to put it in here. So I got, let me see, I got 12, so 6 here, 6 here, you know, something like that. Alright, got them done, and now I'm going to make the, I guess, braising. It's basically milk and eggs. Alright, I got the egg in here. I'm just going to pour just a little bit just of milk just to cover the top. That's about it. Alright, and then going to whisk it. Alright, you can see the jam kolaches are starting to grow. So I'm just going to leave it as is. Looks like it's working pretty good. And I'm going to go ahead and, I guess you call them, I don't know if this is braising or glazing them, or maybe glazing them, I'm not sure. So I take this mixture of egg and milk and mix it in there. Use this nice little brush, and I'm going to just coat it real quick. Yeah, that way it gives it a nice little brown texture when it comes out. Yeah, there we go. That's the last thing I do before I put it in the oven. Put it in the oven, I think about maybe half an hour to 20 minutes, somewhere around there. There we go. Okay. All right. Now, once that's done, it's time to put it in the oven. Okay, time is up. Time is up. Let me see here. Reset that. All right, I'm gonna pull it out of the oven. Let's see how it looks. All right, here's how it looks. Sometimes they grow really out of shape. The jam kolaches look really good. Man, little overspill on the jam, that's what happens. But all right, there you go. All right, please like, share, comment. Let me know how you make your kolaches in the morning. Till next time, bye.